What's up, guys? Today we're going to be checking out possibly Tarantino's two best films, Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs on 4K Blu-ray. We're not going to discuss the movies themselves. I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on the audio and video quality. So if you're into home theater and can appreciate a movie with good picture and sound, be sure to tap the subscribe button for more videos like this. Now for some tech specs. On Pulp Fiction, the movie was shot on 35mm. It's got a 4K DI. It's rated R. Runtime is 154 minutes and the aspect ratio is 239:1. So there are black letterbox bars and the audio is in DTS HD 7.1. I'm not going to get into the audio because it sounds the same as the Blu-ray. It's a dialogue-heavy film with the musical score having a large upfront presence. If you want to upmix using Neural X, it'll expand the music up top, which makes everything sound a bit larger, but there's nothing really standoutish in the way of surround effects. Well, there is that car crash at Lance's that happens in the left surround, but most of the action happens in the center channel. There is some light ambiance here and there, but nothing that's going to push your audio system. Video quality-wise, if you've never seen the movie before, you probably think the movie was shot this year. I think it's a night and day difference coming from the 1080p Blu-ray. The Blu-ray looks like a DVD in comparison. Now keep in mind, for the grain haters out there, that there is a very, very fine layer of grain throughout. Even on my 120-inch scope screen, the grain is barely there. It's a little heavier in some parts, but for the majority of the film, it's one crispy looking transfer. The detail in this is better than some movies that are shot today. Close-ups are super detailed, so all the pores and wrinkles and skin imperfections are rendered flawlessly. Even the little stitching on clothing comes out effortlessly. And as far as I can tell, I didn't notice any artificial sharpening or DNR being applied. Now there are a few scenes here and there that are on the softer side, but nothing glaringly bad. As for the HDR in Dolby Vision, it's a bright transfer overall with clean, bright white highlights without any clipping. The color palette is very natural with a healthy dose of saturated primaries. The black levels offered up an excellent level of contrast, creating great separation between layers and objects. I didn't see any crushing down low or anything detrimental to the image. As for Reservoir Dogs, it's also shot on 35mm with a 4K DI. It's rated R with a 99-minute runtime. The aspect ratio is 239:1 and the audio is in Dolby True HD 5.1. Again, like Pulp Fiction, this isn't a surround extravaganza. It's a dialogue-centric film with some light ambiance in the lower surround channels. If you want to upmix with a Dolby Surround or Neural X upmixers, it'll expand the soundstage a bit, but nothing too drastic. I should also mention that for bass response on both movies, it's barely there unless there's some music playing in the background. For video quality on Reservoir Dogs, this looks just as impressive as Pulp Fiction. If you didn't know better, you'd think that these were both shot back-to-back this year. Detail is exceptional compared to the older Blu-ray, so you might as well throw that thing out the second you get the 4K disc. The detail is so crisp and clean, I'd say it's as good as Pulp Fiction, although there are some shots that can be a little harder to make out detail since the brightness is a bit dimmer. The HDR is in Dolby Vision as well, but the overall image brightness is a couple notches below Pulp Fiction. The color palette leans on the warmer side, and the specular highlights are on the reserved side. And as I mentioned before, this is a dimmer transfer than Pulp Fiction, so some of the darker scenes like Chapter 11's diner conversation can be harder to make out some of the background and finer details. I know when he shot the film, he wanted the blacks to be super dark, and it definitely comes across this way in this transfer. Overall, this is a drastic improvement over the older Blu-ray and a must-buy if you like the film. So I'm gonna have to go with a 9.6 for video. For audio, I'm gonna go with a 7. It's an average no-frills dialogue-heavy mix, but it keeps the dialogue clean for the entire duration of the movie. For Pulp Fiction, I'm gonna go with a 9.8 for video. It's another huge upgrade over the older Blu-ray, and I put it up there with the Professional, which also happened to come out in 1994. It's 4K crispy and looks better than movies shot today. For the 7.1 mix, I'm gonna have to go with a 7.6. There's nothing special going on in this audio department except for some decent musical extension and some solid center channel usage. I'd say if you're a fan of both of these films, then it is a no-brainer to place your orders for them right now. This is what a catalog transfer should look like. None of that Terminator 2 or Lord of the Rings BS. These were done right. So what are your thoughts on Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs on 4K Blu-ray? Have you seen them and what'd you think of the transfers? Also, where would you rank these movies in Tarantino's catalog? Leave your comments down below and let me know. Now, if you do want to grab any of these movies, I'll leave some links for them down below in the video's description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you want to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video.